Hello everyone, what's up? My name is Saradietschy, rhymes with Peachy. Today we're talking about another epic laptop. It's the Asus Zenbook Pro Duo with 2 screens. Thank you Intel for sponsoring this video and hooking me up with this laptop for a couple weeks, because we're not just about specs around here, but how does this actually affect your life, a creator's life, a freelancer's life? When I think of the modern day stay-at-home creative, well, I think someone who needs power but also needs to be able to be mobile. So maybe you don't want to shell over the money for a desktop and a laptop, so you kind of need all of that in one package. So this is definitely a little thicker than we're usually used to in a normal laptop profile. However, it's still sleek, it's still kind of beautiful. I would walk into a coffee shop with this. We've seen the big beefy gaming laptops, but nothing has really ever been designed specifically for creators since the last couple years, which has been so cool to see. And Intel has really been leading the charge with the different OEMs like Dell, Asus, to bring kind of what we need into a laptop. So you have ergonomically a chassis that is actually going to cool all of the powerful parts inside. So quick spec run through. You have the Intel Core i9-9980HK core processor in here with 8 cores and 16 threads. Now i9, it's pretty much a desktop caliber processor, but you're getting it in a laptop. And I actually did a render test with a 45-minute 1080 interview. It had a ton of color grading on it. It had some masks and lumetri, and it exported that interview in only 9 minutes. So these processors are the Coffee Lake H series. Whenever you see that H, that means top of the line. Okay, Mr. Animator Freelancer, you need power, you get that. So it's one thing to have, a lot of the power in the processor, but if you can see on the side, you actually have proper cooling. So you feel a little bit of that heat if you're using a mouse on the side, but I'm telling you, a properly cooled processor is a happy processor. And I also attribute that 9-minute, 45-minute interview export also to the RTX 2060, which is a very powerful graphics card stuffed in this laptop. So all of this is top of the line. We got 32 gigabytes of RAM. We have 1 terabyte of SSD, and we're coming in with a price tag of $29.99. So some of the laptops I've compared this to are spec'd out, they're around $4,000, and this guy is actually beating them. So of course, maybe you pay for a thinner profile, but if you need performance, cooling is important. Cooling is important. So the coolest feature of this laptop is obviously the second screen. It's a matte finish. A lot of times it's gonna be sitting on a desk like this, aiming straight up. I have fluorescent lights in my office, so if you see, you're gonna get some reflection, some major reflection off of this display, but if you notice, they kind of disappear with the matte. The keyboard actually has a lot of great travel. I mean, this is a very nice laptop keyboard. It's more comfortable to type on with that wrist guard. Wrist rest? You really want me to say wrist rest? Some accessories to really make this laptop sing in your home office, at your apartment, or again, at that lovely coffee shop. So this actually comes with a wrist rest where you can rest your wrist. Having the second display actually angled a little bit towards you is the ideal situation. So I have a laptop stand, it's really nice, it's aluminum, $40 purchase on Amazon. However, you don't want to be like carrying that around. It's actually pretty massive, so Fully actually has a really good accessory that breaks down. You'll be able to have that better angle on the go. Already having these 2 displays has been amazing for multitasking. I've been doing a lot of creative work on it. However, if you just want to take it to that next level, my LG 32 UL950W has been a really great display for plugging in laptops, because you can plug it in just via USB-C Thunderbolt, which the Zenbook has, and you can also pair it up with something like the Elgato Thunderbolt 3 dock. However, the main purpose for that is to have ports, and guess what? We already got ports. You see it? Do you see the ports? I mean, there's no SD card slot, which is a little bit of a letdown, but everyone's SD card readers are USB-A, which we have one, so. Okay, that's great, but Sarah, what is this like in Premiere, Photoshop, Lightroom? Obviously, it can juggle email and so many different things to email those clients that are not paying you in a net 30 or net 60 or net 90. They're just not paying you. Anyways, the last video I edited on this was a 4K video from Tokyo. And again, these render times are 12-minute video exported in 9 minutes. Again, this was 4K with film convert, color adjustment layers over in Premiere. And it's not just about render times, but how is it in Premiere? It did not drop frames at all. You know how your laptop is just not cutting it, so you put it at half resolution or fourth resolution? Guys, I was editing at full resolution the entire time with no stutters. Yes, having the cores, having the thread count is important, but software optimization is really half of the game as well. So Intel actually works very closely with companies like Adobe to optimize the creative software for these computers. I actually talked about this in a recent video, but one of the things that attributes to this is actually Intel QuickSync. Intel QuickSync is a hardware component on Intel's integrated GPU that accelerates the encoding and decoding of H.264 and H.265 footage. Cool. Okay, so moving on. The number 2 scenario, live streaming or just recording in general with something like OBS. So something I do a lot is I screen record me editing in Premiere. I know that sounds kind of meta, but I do it for videos like this where I want a time lapse of me editing, or maybe I'm live streaming and showing you my process, or maybe I'm recording to show another editor how I do something. And to be able to see OBS down here on the screen pad while I have the full screen real estate to edit in Premiere was just kind of magical. I think magical is the right word. What's so cool about having these new form factors is they really make you think of how you can work differently, how you can work in a more creative way. The Zenbook also has the new Intel Wi-Fi 6 card, which, when you're streaming, internet's so important, not just from your provider, but also making sure you have a reliable connection from this guy. With this new chair that I got is so much fun. It's like a bubble chair. It activates my core. At least that's what they tell me. That's why I don't work out anymore. Do you think that's okay? Oh, you thought video editing, you thought live streaming and recording your screen was exciting. Look at what Lightroom looks like. So this is editing Hasselblad pictures. These are 100 megabyte raw files. And so it's just gliding through the edit, handling it like a champ. Being able to switch between the grid, the loop feature here on that second screen in Lightroom is just great. It was such a fun experience. I actually didn't get a chance to make a full video about that X1D2. It's just this gorgeous, really cool Hasselblad medium format camera. It was a lot of fun to mess around with. And look at the pictures. Do you like the pictures? I'll wait. About these laptops is that they have touch displays. If you've seen a recent video of mine, I was just going to town on these photo edits, but also using the touch functions in Lightroom. And they are so handy to have in Lightroom and Photoshop. For some reason on the Zenbook, the touch was a little bit off. Maybe it's because this is a pre-production model. So hopefully they'll have that fixed by the time that you guys have them in your hands. So when I was editing this 4K Tokyo video, I was literally exporting in Premiere. I had Lightroom pulled up. I was trying to apply my different filters on it, and then I was like, okay, I think this is ready to go in Photoshop. I used Dynamic Link to edit in Photoshop. So I literally had Photoshop, Lightroom, and Premiere pulled up at the same exact time. Nothing crashed, nothing stalled. I mean, you could hear the fans, but nothing crashed and burnt. Overall, I actually loved using this laptop. I know this little series I'm doing is all about you guys and, trying to pinpoint what the right laptop for you is, but I want this. Why laptops are so exciting for me right now is because of things like this. This is the future. I don't know if this exact model is the future, but Intel, companies like Asus are kind of pushing the fold on what is normal. It not only takes the most powerful parts collaborating inside of, you know, a well-designed laptops, like again, the i9-9980HK, powerful processor, but it also takes the collaboration between the software makers and people like Intel. So performance was super smooth. Everything that I used from Premiere, Lightroom, Photoshop, all the things went great. So I know this has been like an overwhelmingly positive video. I think it's just because honestly, I kind of had not low expectations. I was just like, oh cool, I'll get the version 2. But guess what? The version 1 is ready. It's ready for you. So the only downsides I would say is like, one, since the keypad and the mouse are down here below, you really want to use that wrist rest as much as possible. Once you start editing using this for 2-3 hours plus, you will start to get hand cramps from this mouse pad. And because you're gonna be looking down on the second display a lot, I look forward to maybe future models that are similar to the Intel prototype we saw at Computex, where there's a hinge and you have a better angle, or maybe in future iterations, they'll just have more of an angle built in, because see, if you notice that, it kind of does lift up, give you a little bit of an angle. So I'm curious, are you that stay-at-home creative? Do you wear sweatpants half of the week? Guess what? No shame, because hello, I'm one of you guys. Does this appeal to you? You know, a lot of people don't want to throw down the money for a desktop and a laptop. Could this be the desktop caliber laptop of your choice? The Asus Zenbook Pro Duo. Could this be your one and only go-to? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I don't want to give it back. Why do I have to give this back? Anyways, let me know if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below for new videos every single week. Thank you, Intel, for sponsoring this video. Check out the description for more links. Okay, happy freelancing, happy editing. Okay, see you later. Goodbye. I forgot to mention the speakers in this laptop are fantastic.